Are you watching all of your Instagrams unfold where everyone seems to be in the south of France or in Italy or maybe Greece? There's a little Greece. Greece would be my option. But are you seeing all of them? Everyone is on a boat or in the water or jumping off of a cliff or in a seaside restaurant or in some little village walking with bricks and like the steps, and you're just sitting at home being like, what the fuck am I doing? Everyone does seem to be, whether it's people you know personally or people you follow on social, in the south of France or in Italy or in Greece. And we're going to talk about it because I experienced it. We talked a little bit about it last time. I then went back to France in my little break. I went back to France, but I went to Paris when everybody now was in the south of France. The heat wave was done. And I can now say with 100% certainty that TikTok and Instagram have ruined these beautiful places for us. It's just better to watch it through the eyes of people in it than to actually experience it because it is too crowded, it is too expensive, it is now too hot. Europe is burning, France is burning, Spain is burning. It's literally burning. And influencers are influencing. Lauren Sanchez is Lauren Sanchezing it. People are spend maxing is going to be my terminology. We're maxing everything. They're spend maxing. They are literally spending everything they own to try to live up to this image while we're sitting at home looking at our Instagrams being like, what the fuck? And I'm guilty of it too. I know. And I'm here to just to say, I get it. I am now on the other side of it. And so we're going to talk about that and a whole bunch more. I'm Brooke, and it's Thursday, and it's Pop Culture Mondays on Thursdays. So I know that I have been off and on and off and on, and I appreciate your patience with me. I have this travel itch right now. Needed to get it out of my system. Not quite sure it's totally out of my system. I'm not going to lie. I just think with the world in the state that it is, where some people go is they get lost in work. I am, to my clients and all, I am working and working and working, but I am doing it from a different setting each week, it seems like. So I had no sooner had I gotten back from my little south of France extravaganza than I went right back like a week or so later to Paris. Very different experience. And I will say, once the heat wave had ended and everybody was out of Paris in their south of France or wherever they were going, it was delightful. It was magical. Dinner reservations were possible. You could walk the streets. You could shop. It was an amazing thing. I think as an observer of pop culture, an observer of social media, but also very much, I am not coming at this without any self-awareness, very much in it, where I post and I showcase sort of the best of the things that I'm experiencing, not the worst of the things I'm experiencing. I really do think that social media has not just created like the ruined the locations themselves because they're overcrowded. They're just back to back. You can't get anywhere. They're too expensive, but they've also created a false sense for the people who are looking at it, and then maybe making it aspirational. Or even if people have been there before, but they're like, that's not what my experience is. I'm sitting at home, and while I was maybe there before, but I didn't have that experience, or I didn't have that joy that they seem to be having, to know that it's all manipulated, right? We're being manipulated. The people putting it out there are manipulating the photos. I know I'm guilty of both. It's just such an interesting thing because then I did Paris and I didn't take a picture except for the outfits that I was wearing in the mirror, in the elevator, in the hotel I was at. I didn't take a picture. I was there and so present. I didn't take a picture. I wasn't posting everything on on Instagram, as I tend to do, I was just experiencing it for what it was in that moment. And it it wasn't intentional even. I just sort of was not, it wasn't that kind of trip. And I was actually very present in the situation of Paris and enjoying Paris and getting around. And the only time I looked at my phone was to get around using Google Maps and so forth. But it was delightful. And I think we, as a society, have to put our phones down. Like, I think concerts, again, I'm just extending the conversation we talked about, but concerts are so much better when people don't have their phones in front of their faces and you're not looking at just a sea of phones. And I think Europe and travels, like, take pictures for your family or mementos. Again, oh my God, I'm saying this is like, do as I say, not as I do, because it's going to take me a long time, if ever, to be deprogrammed from sharing and from, what is the intent of sharing? Like, back in the day, we used to have a small, hyper private, hyper like personal social network called Path. And it was created by Silicon Valley sort of tech folks, Dave Morin and whatnot. And it was like your micro social network. It was just for could be just your family or your inner circle of friends. And I loved it. I know there's still a lot of people out there who think of Path like we think of our Blackberries, with great joy and love and sadness that they're no longer in our lives. But I find that makes sense when you're sharing those personal moments. You're sharing sort of like a digital footprint with your friends, your family, or that small circle. When it's going out to people you don't know, like, what is our agenda of putting it out there? And it's something that I'm wrestling with on my own. Like, I love sharing the joy of my dogs because I feel that that's sharing joy. I think it brings joy to people. But then when you're sharing sort of these pictures that everybody else is, but you're there and you're sort of showing, like, I'm there, like, what are we all doing? Why are we doing it? What is the meaning of life, guys? I'm having an existential crisis. But I will say it's just a shame that these places have become overwrought with influencers. Like, it literally was impossible in some of the places in the south of France to actually be anywhere where you weren't going to be filmed, where you weren't in somebody's experience, because everybody around you was filming everything they were doing and holding selfie sticks. And I just was like, absolutely not. And with the advent of these cameras on your eyes in the form of meta glasses and the snap glass, I feel like the intrusion of privacy and the exploitation of everything is just at the start, really. I don't know what we're going to do about these meta glasses because the invasion of privacy is real. I have the older iteration of them, but you do see when you're taking a picture or photographing it, but it's subtle. Like, I could see people missing it. I could see people not knowing what that was and being, privy to being on somebody's camera. Now, granted, we had this when people started with camcorders, I mean, who knows how many family videos I'm on when I was a kid at Disney World, because everybody's their camcorder. But you knew that they were holding the camera, and to some extent the phone, that they're doing it. Now with these glasses, it's taking on another, like, creepier meaning. And I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but apparently an activist group called Everyone Hates Elon, which I believe is based in London. We don't need second names here. They have installed these spoof advertisements all over London, featuring Jeffrey Epstein wearing Meta AI glasses. It's an ongoing campaign to sort of highlight Meta's, surveillance tactics and privacy issues and so forth. So the slogan, guys, for those of you not watching: glasses for people who don't do consent. Damn. It's pretty great. It's not hit the It's not hit the US yet, but they are in London. I had a friend send it to me just as I was getting ready to record. So I think, from really scary things to really just sad things, like we can't enjoy experiences just in our little world anymore. Everything is magnified. Everything is it was so crowded. It's so upsetting that the most beautiful things in the world are now just being sought after for like a checking the box, not to actually grok it and experience it and to fantasize back to those moments, but only living in your camera phone or your pictures and your glasses. So I digress, but there's a lot of that. And I don't want to, I want to really sort of try to change my own behavior as much as I can. Maybe baby steps, but I'm working on it. Paris was a big first for me and I really enjoyed it. So I sent pictures to friends. I sent pictures to, people that in that moment that it meant something to, but I didn't broadcast everything all at once at the same time, if you know what I mean. There is a trend. So what I did in this week's newsletter, because I've sort of been in and out and up and down and all over the world, I haven't been as on top of things in the moment, though let me be clear, I'm still ahead of them more so than the New York Times. Like this week's New York Times, I got to be honest with you. I heard from a lot of people. I appreciate it. But in this week's New York Times Sunday paper alone, this is just one section in the style section. The cover was a different kind of grocery store magnet focusing on the founder of Meadow Lane, the grocery store we've covered extensively here at Pop Culture Mondays, the sort of Erewhon copy and paste that's in New York now. Also the squishies, the phenomenon of squishies. We've covered that extensively at PCM. And then this Netflix trend, making your life a documentary, which is the trend that we talked about last time. I think we certainly talked about in the newsletter, where people sit down and sort of talk about their frivolous things in their world as if it were going to become a Netflix documentary. And it's a really fun trend here's an example of a couple of them that in particular sort of stick out. And just for you, those of you not watching, it's the same sound usually, and it's just somebody positioning themselves. They're not speaking. They're in front of the camera. They're sitting down like, how anyone is getting ready when you're watching a documentary and they're sitting at the table and they're very serious. So it's sort of behind the scenes, meant to be a look right before the cameras start going of you doing a documentary of something frivolous, like me about to talk about why Diet Cokes are better for you than water. And it'll have the writing over it. So here are a couple for those of you watching. But, and the New York Times did cover it, but something else that came out before we get into some of the other things is a very sad story that happened while I was in Paris. This beautiful woman, mom, and I guess, let's see, how do I describe her? Sarah Gilson, that is her name. I apologize. She was estranged from her husband. She took this trend and took a little turn, whereas what I made it clear, it was about frivolous things. It's silly things. Like, I'm going to do a documentary on how French bulldogs are the greatest thing in the world, whatnot. She sits down, and I'm showing it right now. She sits down and talks about, basically says, doing a Netflix documentary on how my husband is a pedophile. So the backstory is she was estranged from her husband, found out he was like a coach of, I don't know if it was like softball or something like that, and was caught kissing and interacting with a 14 or 15-year-old. And I don't know if she was already estranged from him. I don't know the whole breakdown. She had a like protection order against him. She then posts this TikTok. It gets attention, obviously, probably more so amongst her community at that time than it did on a national level. It only went viral, I think, after the news. And the news is that her husband, in front of her son, shot and killed her and then killed himself. And we don't know if the trend is obviously what was the catalyst. We don't know, but one can assume that it certainly didn't help lower temperatures of any kind, especially if she'd already known she needed a protection order against him. So this is the downside of social media. We've seen, this isn't the first that we've seen of it. Pop culture has a tendency of sort of not just being light and fun, but it can get dark and it can weigh heavily into consequences. So the trend continues. People are still doing it. I don't think everybody knows the dark side of what's happened. It's certainly not to say we shouldn't have fun, light things. She took it to a dark level, right? She did. And that's not to say that she by any means brought this on herself. It's just, it probably magnified something that was brewing for a while. And this guy, this murder-suicide thing is we see it more and more. We're seeing it more and more. So that is a terrible thing that has come about from a very light and lighthearted trend. So just think before, if you want to get back at someone, if you want to take, like, what will the consequences be if that goes public, if you will.
This is heavy. What is a woman supposed to do when she discovers that the man she married has allegedly sexually abused a child? Is she supposed to leave? Because Sarah Gilson left. Is she supposed to seek legal protection? Because Sarah Gilson did that too. Court records show that she had obtained a protective order against her estranged husband. Is she supposed to tell the world the truth about what she discovered about the man that she married? Sarah did that as well. She posted a video to TikTok saying that the man she was divorcing had been exposed as an alleged pedophile. Another woman had accused him of kissing and touching her 15-year-old daughter. Less than 2 weeks after Sarah posted that video, police say that her estranged husband entered her home and then shot her dead before killing himself. And here is the part that we really need to examine. Some people are asking online whether Sarah placed herself in danger by speaking publicly. But think about what that question implies. It suggests that the danger began when she told the truth about her husband. But it didn't. The danger was already there. It was there in a man who was allegedly sexually abusing a child. It was there in the need for a protective order. And police say it was there in his belief that he could enter Sarah's home and decide that exposing him would cost her life. Because that's how control works. It makes a woman responsible not only for surviving a man's behavior, but for managing his reaction when she refuses to conceal it.
Another trend that's happening that I also didn't cover that has been going on for a while, it's not new, but it's new maybe to you, is tan maxing. We're maxing everything now, right? Like, I mean, we're Diet Coke maxing. We're the White House is deportation maxing because they're classy. Stay classy, White House. I say that sarcastically, but tan maxing. And this makes sense. This makes sense. This is, again, something else that I do as I say, not as I do. I'm sitting here with a very, like, the remnants of the last of my tan. I tan max. I do. I love sun. I am not afraid of it. I think of Nicole Kidman when she like covers her whole body and that's why her skin is perfect. And I think about that as I'm like lathering on the oil. Do as I say, not as I do. Get checked always. But I will say the kids are doing blow again. They're smoking cigarettes again. Of course they're going to be super tanning. Of course they are. Like where you lose me is in the tanning bed. Like it's one thing to get your vitamin D and sit outside, but like the tanning bed culture is not one that I am really keen on getting back, especially the advancements of spray tans, which are amazing. I love a spray tan. Of course, in LA, there's a spray tan that's like vegan and it uses beet juice. So good. It smells really good too. And it lasts for 7 days if you do the instructions properly and whatnot. I highly recommend a spray tan. But tan maxing, take a look. It's a thing.
I never wear sun cream. It's 30 degrees here in Marbella. I've got a great tan and I don't burn. But how do I do it? God said, let there be light. And now science said, wear sun cream and avoid the sun. Which unfortunately has actually led to many more illnesses and vitamin deficiencies. Firstly, you need to build up your base layer of tan. The mistake that many people make is they go abroad and they put themselves straight in the sun, UV 10 for 3, 4, 5 hours, at peak sunlight hours, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., and think that they're not going to burn. That's just not the case. What should you actually use on your skin? Now, I personally use coconut oil. There's other natural SPFs out there, but coconut oil works for me. Now, I'm not saying this is factor 50, but it gives a little bit of natural protection. And again, when I start to get hot, when I feel like I'm burning, I get inside. And that's how you get a great tan, you don't burn, and you keep things nice and natural.
Okay, guys, when did the sun suddenly become this evil thing we're supposed to avoid? I'm seeing so many videos, like from that Brian Johnson guy, about how the sun is going to make you age and wrinkle, but what about all the health benefits of the sun, like the red light it provides that's super healthy for your skin and the vitamin D?
Something else I missed last week while I was traveling, you may not have missed it, but is Jimothy, the adorable short-spined raccoon taking over the streets of Seattle. Jimothy certainly probably needs no introduction by me. I mean, he's already gone viral. And we say he, the creator who posted the video that went viral, named him Jimothy. Vets cannot confirm or not whether or not it's a boy or a girl. They can confirm that Jimothy is about a year old because once Jimothy went viral, people went back and were like, wait, I actually caught Jimothy on my camera and the timeline shows when he was a baby. They were a baby. Sorry for misgendering you, Jimothy, if you are indeed a girl. But this creator who took this video that went viral.
What am I looking at?
Named him Jimothy because she says, just looks like a Jimothy. And it's this like short spined little raccoon. And we are as humans drawn to this type of thing. And by the way, there are other animals that suffer from short spine syndrome. Like I'm just showing a couple right now. Look at this dog. So cute. I think it's human nature. We gravitate towards those that are a little fragile, a little, maybe in real life we're not that way, but I think it really hits at a core. Speaking of something else I saw talked about in the newsletter this week was I finally saw Sheep Detectives. We're going to get to that, but there's a character in Sheep Detectives called the Winter Lamb. I'm not going to give much more away, but if you know, you know. And the Winter Lamb is sort of like when we had the monkey who was ostracized and left out in the cold. We can't get enough of the monkey. We can't get enough of the lamb that's left alone. We can't get enough of the short-spined raccoon, and we are rooting for the raccoon. The vets can confirm also, though, that raccoon Jimothy seems to be doing just fine, well-fed, seems not to be in pain, living their best life. I'm trying not to misgender them, so they are they now. But I love like Jon Stewart and, oh my God, I'm so bad because I'm just going to say Jason Kelsey's wife. That's so bad of me. I'm so bad, but forgive me. She's a great podcast. We love her. They both talk about Jimothy in funny ways. Take a look.
May I just say something quickly about Jimothy? Hear me out. Hear me out. I with Jimothy. I with Jimothy. I with them heavy. Now, I know some of you were perhaps worried about what I might say because of my previous punch kerfuffle. Let me tell you people something. Jimothy is everything Punch wishes he could be.
Let's see this short king. Are we calling him short or compact? Yeah. I thought this was... It is not. Apparently, Jimothy fans have also uncovered rare footage of him as a baby. Stop it. That is one of the cutest things I've ever laid eyes on.
By the way, her name is Kylie. So I should be better. Kylie is really a great podcaster, and I love her podcast, so I don't know what was wrong with me. Kylie Kelsey, I salute you. But the Jimothy thing, I feel like we really do, as a society, as cruel as things can be, as we can be, and as horrible as the world is, we come together in these sort of unifying moments of something that is broken, and it tugs at our heartstrings, and it reminds us that we're human, and it reminds us that we are rooting for the underdog. And I do think we are living in a society, and have for some time, where the bullies are in control, and the mean kids on the school bus and at school, and all the things that we were taught we would get away from when we grew up. They're the ones running the show. And we relate a little. Maybe I'm projecting, but maybe it's possible to say we relate to the ones, the misfits, to the ones that are on the outside, the ones that need a little special attention and love, the ones that we feel we can pull our heart towards. And that's why so many of these videos, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram, really do appeal to people it's a very, emotional way. It connects emotionally. It's not just frivolous stuff, which does also carry weight, but it's the emotional. And whether or not that's a manipulation, for better or for worse, it is what it is. I think I want to, since we were already on Sheep Detectives, I think I'm going to go there, because content-wise, guys, there's a lot. I have not seen the Odyssey. I have tried to see the Odyssey. I cannot get tickets to the Odyssey. I'm not going to go to Odyssey unless I see it on IMAX, obviously. I think that's the way everyone is going to do it, though there are some funny tweets about people saying, I'm going to see the Odyssey in the way God intended, on the back of an airplane seat, which is, in my case, also entirely possible. I did finally watch the Michael Jackson movie, which I hate to say, guys, I really did enjoy. I really, really did. I really did. I watched that on the back of an airplane seat, as I did Devil Wears Prada 2. Kara Swisher, you were delightful as the star of that. But no, I'm going to see the Odyssey in IMAX. The drama that Elon and the fucking MAGA people have made over this not being like culturally appropriate, like the idea that they're now saying, like, you're not following culture. Like, do we see the hypocrisy? It's so crazy. Really, they're upset because there's a trans person in it. Let's be clear. They're upset that Helen of Troy is a black woman that they don't think meets their beauty standards, and that there is a trans person in the movie. Really, really gets under the skin of these people. And they really were thinking they did something. They were going to really disarm everyone into, being appalled by this movie and derail its success. And instead, the movie has gone on to, since opening, bring in $640 million. That's globally thus far. It's Christopher Nolan's biggest opening ever. It's a huge hit. So, and everybody's in it. And I just love the way that TikTok has gone sort of crazy about it. First and foremost, though, I will read Neil deGrasse Tyson. Was so funny, because obviously everybody was freaking out about, on the right, they're claiming that it wasn't culturally accurate because they were miscasting people and so forth. And the way Neil deGrasse Tyson handled it. I'm pulling it up. Here, he says, saw the Odyssey in IMAX 70 millimeter. As many know, I value cinematic accuracy. Some complain about its woke casting, but Christopher Nolan's choice to have actors speak English, then authentic ancient Greek in original dactylic hexameter, is what I found to be most incredulous. I mean, let's be clear. I probably also butchered that word. We're not going to talk about it. I can't pronounce complicated words. Sue me. And then somebody responded to him saying, you claim to be a scientist, yet are willing to go along with the rejection of biological science portrayed by the actor in the film. You're no scientist, you're a propagandist for the Democrats. That's in reference to the trans actor. Neil deGrasse Tyson responds, seems to me a story that has a flesh-hungry, rock-dwelling sea monster, a giant cyclops, a witch who turns humans into pigs and birds, and zombies that rise from the ground is not much about biology at all. So thank you, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Sometimes you really do know how to show them. There's some really funny ones. Apparently, I haven't seen it, but we love, like, there's a lot of star power in here. So first, this is one of my favorite creators breaking it down for us.
Okay, hi, it's Louie. Last night I went to see the Odyssey. Honey, consider my Odyssey fingered, and for 3 hours, mind you. I'm gonna be sore tomorrow, but it was worth it, and I'm happy. My seat was soaked, and I didn't even see that shit in 4D, but I did see 4Ds on the screen that I would like to experience. Between Robert Pattinson, my Boston daddy Matt Damon, Travis Scott, Tom Holland. Yes, honey, they took Spider-Man from Marvel and put him in BC, out of the Spidey suit and into a skirt, and I was living for it. Don't even get me started on the ladies in the cast. Zendaya, who doesn't get a day off in her life, apparently, because she's in this movie, 16 others. She's in the trailer. She's on the poster outside. You got Mia Goth, who looks like she's from Bushwick, but in like a complimentary kind of way. I love her. You had Lupita, the goddess that she is. Charlize Theron, put her on a damn throne, motherfucking queen. Anne Hathaway, give her an Oscar, give her an Emmy, give her a Grammy, give her a Tony, give her a Louie, give her whatever she wants. She deserves the world. She is so motherfucking talented and fantastic in this.
I mean, he's so funny. I cannot help but laugh at him. I love him. I wish he was my best friend. Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, both come from like teen stars and now are adults. They're getting a little bit of shit for their roles, but it's all done with love. So here are a couple of creators having their fun ways. Now I haven't seen it, so I am just telling it through third parties without knowing whether Zendaya was just sort of side-eyeing throughout her role. I think she was Athena, and Robert Pattinson was apparently like a little bitch in the movie. So you guys tell me. Hopefully I will have seen it by the time I record next week, but who's to say?
Odysseus, you don't recognize your own home?
Use the spears! Use the shield! Use the swords! Use the gun!
And something I did not know about this movie, Christopher Nolan loathes CGI. So it's really fascinating. There's so many TikToks about how the movie was created. Now, I imagine, because there's one creator that's like, you used CGI for Oppenheimer and the nuclear bomb, didn't you? And people are like, did I? And you have to think about it. I don't know if he did, because I think they showed... Anyway, take a look at this TikTok. This woman is explaining how they created this sort of size discrepancy to show giants and the people without Odysseus without using CGI. It's fascinating to me.
This is not Matt Damon. And this is all real. There is no CGI involved in the making of this shot. It is a practical shot. So in case you missed it, this is Devin Dalton. She is Matt Damon's stunt double in the movie The Odyssey. And she's incredible. I mean, look at those arms. She has over 60 film credits, including The Last of Us, Weapons, and that is her. Those are her arms. And how Christopher Nolan made this shot, he used no CGI. That man hates CGI. Most of everything you see in The Odyssey is real, all practical, which is another reason why I love it just so much. Anyways, this shot was made out of men who were over 7 feet tall, and then the stunt doubles were under 5 feet. So that's why this shot looks the way that it does.
And then this creator having a little bit of fun with that.
And then we see the giant Cyclops.
Yes, finally! Finally, Chris, it's gonna be so sick. Listen to this. I already programmed the computer to make the Cyclops.
I'm sorry.
50
I'm sorry.
feet.
What did you just say?
The Cyclops.
No.
What did you just say before that? Oh no, Chris, say it. Don't do it, man. I'm talking about CGI, Chris.
Security!
Listen to me.
Get rid of this.
No, but
Man.
Look at me, Chris. I'm your best friend.
You were my best friend.
Where the hell are you gonna find the Cyclops?
Okay, so I know I talked about cheap detectives. This is I'm grown up. I'm not a child. I understand that, which is why I didn't go see the movie in the movie theater. But I saw a lot of social commentary about the movie on TikTok. And then it came to our living rooms and our bedrooms and our devices in the form of Amazon Prime. So you can stream it if you are a subscriber. And I watched it with Brian, my dear friend. We watched it this weekend. He'd already seen it in the movie theater at a friend's kid's birthday party. But he's like, no, I'd totally see it again. I'd totally see it again. And I was like, really? I really kind of want to see it. He's like, no, I'll totally see it again. So I watched it. I would say within 15 minutes, like the TikTok show, I am sobbing. But it's not sobbing in like a Bambi Dumbo way, though it is. It's so beautiful. I don't think the one really terrible thing to me, just because I love it so much. I love lamb. I love it. I don't think I could ever eat lamb again. I really don't. I was holding baby Chicken, the puppy, like crying, sobbing. And I knew this was happening. These creators told me this was going to happen. Take a look.
I'm sorry, I thought you all were joking about the sheep detective. I thought you all were kidding when you came out of the theaters crying. I was like, no, there's no way. Whoa. I take it back. Holy shit, that movie just destroyed me. Would watch it again, 10 out of 10.
I watched that stupid sheep detective movie. It was so good.
But it's one of those movies that you just still, you feel joy from. It's so well done. Like, it's so well done. It's funny. The acting is funny. It's sort of campy. I mean, you have Emma Thompson. How can it be bad? You have cousin Greg from Succession doing a very convincing British accent. It was such a strange role when I first saw that he was doing that, like his big role post Succession, but brilliant on the agent side, or whoever brought it to him, or whatever made him make that choice. Brilliant. Cousin Greg was brilliant. It was I love this movie. It's a real fun movie. I highly recommend. And then this is totally out of left field. I am a history buff. I talk about it in the newsletter. I am a junkie for certain things, specifically Pompeii and Herculaneum, which I also always have a hard time pronouncing. I first went to Pompeii and Herculaneum when I was 12. I was fascinated with it beforehand. I wrote a school report, got in trouble because I brought in all the pictures of the mummified people, and they're not mummified, but that's the encased people, stretched out in agony or as they're dying. In third grade, Mrs. Cappiello, for anyone listening, if you had Mrs. Cappiello at Greenwich, the School of the Convent of the Sacred Heart in Greenwich, Connecticut, in 1983 or in the 80s. I had her, and I did a report, and I brought in this huge, really heavy book on Pompeii. And then I did my report, like, where it was on, like, the slides, where it went up on the screen, and everyone was, like, horrified. They had nightmares. I got in trouble, yada, yada, yada. I have been fascinated. Maybe I had a past life there. I don't know. But I've spent I've walked a lot of steps in Pompeii and Herculaneum, which a lot of people don't know about Herculaneum because there are fewer there are fewer remnants of people who died there, because the idea is that many got out. Think of it as the Hamptons. Pompeii was already a wealthy area, but Herculaneum was the Hamptons of that. It was the posh, right on the sea. It's no longer on the sea because of what happened with the volcano, but it was right on the sea, and the idea is theoretically people escaped. So imagine my surprise when I saw there was a new 3-part series on Pompeii and Herculaneum, really on Vesuvius, and what happened hosted by Tom Hiddleston. And it's a Nat Geo. It's on Hulu. It is so well done. It's very creative. Tom Hiddleston himself had a little Pompeii obsession, and he credits it with what got him into studying Latin and getting into the classics and ultimately acting. And we get to see him experiencing Pompeii and Vesuvius as a teenager when he went there and when he was a school kid. It's really well done. It's through the lens of sort of creative nonfiction. So imagining the stories of people that they're able to trace back that have survived or experienced it. And they do it with the help of a historian classicist, a geologist, archaeologist, and a disaster psychologist, sort of what would happen in a disaster, what happens, what humans were no different in that way than we were 1,000, 2,000 years ago. So it's wild. I highly recommend it. There is nothing socials really about it, talking about it. I just wanted to bring it to you because it's on my radar. It's a fun, interesting watch, and it's my obsession. We cannot close out, though, without a few of the Andrew Tate memes in his Temu outfit. Andrew Tate, as you know, and his brother were arrested. I don't know how long ago. They are now sitting in a federal prison. He's tweeting. So he's complaining about how he doesn't have any clean water and he's not given any free time and he's not allowed out in air. But hard to believe if he still has his iPhone or whatever and he's tweeting. So take it with a grain of salt. He may be out of 9 lives. It may be the end of the line for Andrew Tate. I don't think is going to get help from the Trump administration, it looks like, in terms of fighting his extradition back to the UK. Either way, he's fucked. So, like, if he goes into the UK and then he has to go to trial in the UK, and then if he gets sentenced and he serves that, then he would be deported to Romania and go on trial for the crimes there, and then perhaps get sentenced. If he gets deported to the UK, but then he could also get sent to Romania to get, there's a lot going on. And I think his days may be numbered. And we say that with glee because, like, it's nice to see, and I'm maybe getting ahead of myself, but it's nice to see the right ending for people like that. I say that with love. But here are some of my favorite memes of Andrew Tate because, you know, no one deserves the meme experience more than this guy. But the fact that this is the hyper masculine man and he was wearing this outfit when he gets arrested, a super tight purple shirt, capri pants, like girl shoes. It's really great. So the logo, they say there's Asda George. It looks like it's an ad. It looks like it comes out of a real ad. I have to believe this is AI, but I don't know. This person's wearing the exact outfit. Somebody said he should have been arrested just for wearing this outfit. Looks like Andrew Tate got his outfit from Temu. Damn, they arrested Tate while he's out there in pantaloons, nabbed him in a pair of knickerbockers, bagged him in his business capris, tack on a lewd and lascivious for the slutty little ankle boys, bros out here in some breeches. I'm forgive my tone there. I'm like reading it and on the go. Then there's this picture of what his jail cell looks like. HMP Belmarsh, that must be a UK prison, has prepped Andrew Tate's cell ahead of his extradition from Miami. And it's like all in pink and purple, neon. It's like a girls' dorm room from like University of Alabama. And I'm going to close with this. Perfect tweet. Women be like, I needed this. And it's just Andrew Tate being arrested in polyester chinos and ballet flats. Thanks for the ride, guys. Thanks for joining me for yet another ride with the craziness going on in my head, for the therapy session you provide me. Thank you, obviously, to Joe and Ethan for making this podcast and for Live Nation for letting this podcast live. I'll see you guys next week.